Let's call this section 6 steps to decode your triggers. Probably one of the most confusing things for individuals that struggle with insecure attachment is learning how to sift and sort and prioritize our emotions. And so through childhood experiences or difficult adult relationships, we've learned not to trust our own instincts. And that's most likely because they have been dismissed or invalidated, misinterpreted, manipulated, or just completely ignored for whatever reason. And so sometimes we will have an immediate reaction to a trigger that just completely baffles us. We may have been happily headed in one direction, and then all of a sudden it's kind of like our body has this reaction, this emotional reaction that just completely pushes us off the path. So for example, I often see questions like, if I start to feel repulsed when I come close to a partner that I was previously interested in, am I just responding defensively to intimacy, or is that my intuition alerting me to a genuine incompatibility? If I feel highly anxious when a partner says or does something that I think is ambiguous, am I just overreacting out of a fear of abandonment, or is it my intuition telling me to be on high alert for deceit and hidden agendas? So I think these are probably some of the most crucial questions that we can ask, because our emotions are really the way that we can access our most essential self and our core knowledge. And this is what really allows us to expand into the fullness of conscious awareness. So in other words, once we're better able to sift and sort and properly prioritize our emotions, we tend to experience a better quality of life and an ability to deepen the intimacy in our relationships with more compatible partners. In this next segment, and we're going to talk about how to think about the mind-body connection so that your thoughts and your emotional reactions move you towards a state of equilibrium and problem solving instead of imbalance and, let's call it, pain amplification. And finally, I'm going to offer you 6 steps for how to work with survival mode responses and unearth some deeper wisdom and intuition they may have for you. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Brianna McWilliam, and I am a licensed and board-certified creative arts therapist, author, and educator with more than 15 years in the field, helping adults struggling with insecure attachment go from self-doubting to self-sovereign so they can attract those soul-shaking, passionate partnerships that they want. Today, I'm going to be sharing a clip of a live stream event that took place inside my private Facebook groups, which people can access once they've purchased one of my online courses. If you're interested in finding out if you might have insecure attachment, check out the link in the caption of this video. You'll be able to take an easy 4-question quiz and find out your attachment style, plus a detailed explanation. Now, if you like what you see in here, and you haven't yet, make sure that you like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. I put up videos once or twice a week, and sometimes I will do occasional live streams through my YouTube channel, and I wouldn't want you to miss out. So you have a crappy thought, and your core self, your inner being says, wow, that's a crappy thought. I have to make sure that my conscious self realizes it so we can stop that crappy thinking right away. So your inner being or your core self or your unconscious self, if you prefer, makes your body feel bad, right? Cry or get upset so that you can realize just how crappy that thought is. But your mind and body also are going to feel pain, which is supposed to make you avoid that crappy thinking or situation, right? And I want to just add, there's a distinction here, not repress or deny the idea, but name and claim the limiting belief so that you can use the body's resources and its charge to lean into it and to let it move through you, i.e. charge up or discharge as needed without resorting to things like short-term escapes or addictions. Now, but oftentimes we will then interpret whatever the crappy thinking or feeling is as proof positive that the crappy thinking is true, and it's only going to make your thoughts and your feelings worse, i.e. uncomfortable, right? How can you tell if you're experiencing an intuition or a survival mode response? So I want to offer you 6 steps to this, okay? So number 1, I recommend that you examine the thoughts running through your mind that you notice are in relationship to this triggered state. So in other words, you have a feeling, what are the thoughts that come along with it, okay? Then you're going to locate where they stem from in your body, right? So if I'm angry right now and the anger had a home in my body and my body was a landscape for my own emotions, where would the anger reside? Now, some people know right away. Some people don't. Okay. And this leads us to the next one, which is step 3, which is to notice that part of you and if it feels over or undercharged. So for the people that know right away, they'll usually feel kind of jittery, and or they'll instantly say, oh, it's right here in my chest, or oh, it's in my throat, or oh, I feel it in my gut, right? People who are undercharged are more likely to say, I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know what that means. What do you mean, my body? I don't know, right? Undercharged. Okay. And the step 4 would then be to assess the state of your charge, right? So ask your body what it wants to do. So if you're someone who knows that, right, immediately jumps out at you, you sense it, you feel it, then just listen and notice how your body wants to move. So if I'm feeling anger, a jittery sense in my chest and in my throat and in my heart space, I want to breathe into it. I'd probably want to start moving it in some way, right? And so you just allow yourself to follow the movement. Now, if you're someone who's disconnected from the body, you don't know where to identify it, I might challenge you to just imagine where it might be. Now, for someone who's that undercharged, remember, we don't want to overblow their circuits, but working with their hands, right, is something that can help charge them up a little bit, and it might remain within their comfort zone. So we could do like a hand exercise where you just rub your hands together like this, right? Maybe you shake them a little bit, right? Charge them up a little. And I might ask you to kind of move your hands over your body and just notice where they might want to stop or rest. And that might be a place that we start. That's just a basic exercise. If you're in this group, then you have access to my courses, and I use the McWilliam method to access this through scribble drawings or through an external projective activity, and then we bring it into the body, right, once it's safe enough. So that has to do with this 5th step, which is to charge up or discharge as much energy as is necessary so that you can get back to a place of equilibrium. Now, incidentally, I would just add here that things like yoga and meditation can both charge up and discharge the body. So it just depends on what your original natural state might be. Now, lastly, the 6th step would be to consider the circumstance again. So imagine that you are moving energy through your core. Now that we've played with it, we've discharged some energy, or we've charged ourselves up to a state of equilibrium, right? Or a vitality, let's say. We want to return to that circumstance and remain open to the subtle intuitions of your core energy. Remaining open to, okay, now that we're in a more balanced state, what am I noticing? What's coming up for me, right? And we could do this the same way. Listen using meditation, creating artwork, doing authentic movement, simply sitting in the park with a couple of really good journal prompts. And as I said before, in my practice, scribble drawings, dominant, non-dominant handwriting, authentic movement, visioning, visualizing, and sometimes I do a little bit of sound healing to play with this also. If you have experienced like severe trauma, you may benefit from modalities that are more consistently and directly body-based, okay? So, for example, things like emotional freedom technique, which is a form of tapping, which taps into your meridians, acupuncture, hypnosis, kinesiology, Reiki, EMDR, rapid transformational therapy, accelerated resolution therapy, creative arts therapies, and of course my own method, the McWilliam method. These are ways in which you can start to release some of the energetic blocks that you have, right? And I'd also recommend participating in healing or therapeutic groups, okay? Because that's going to foster a sense of belongingness for you, as well as unconditional regard and witnessing, and also provide you a sense of connection as a source of support, not only for your mind, but also for your nervous system, okay? And so I would love to know in the comments there how you are digesting this concept of charge and energy in the body and how it relates to attachment. And if you already have a sense of if you think you're overcharged or undercharged, and how do you think that you tend to find a state of equilibrium within you. I would love to see that there in the comments if you're willing to share.